We live, baby. We live.
We on, man. I feel a little
Welcome.
Yeah, I feel different without the music, man.
Yo, I'm about to play that joint from my phone or something, man. Nah, but man, we'll it's been crazy. We're still social distancing.
Yeah. You have no choice.
Huh?
I said you have no choice but the social distance.
You don't have no choice, man. But this is off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
Yeah, whatever. So, Scott, I give you the floor before I I'll let you explain why we're a day late, but not $1 short.
All right, so speaking. All right, so I can already tell like your energy was just off, right?
Well,
so it's just all the way off. I log into this joint. This cat got me waiting backstage on the computer.
Yo, come on.
Right.
Nah, it's not like that, man.
On a streaming service to where you're backstage on parts of your show. Now we're late because of me.
It's all good. Listen.
Yeah. A little emergency popped up.
Yeah.
I took care of business.
Things happen.
Yeah, things happen.
But
what do you do, man? I see we both got hats on because we ain't got haircuts. We're not.
Look, I'm looking rough, man.
Man, it's rough.
Yeah. I was gonna wear my hood, but I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna wear my hood. I'll just be regular. But
I'll tell you, man. My son, man, his hair was looking rough.
Did you cut it?
Yeah.
Tell me, you could at least went on YouTube. We're live right now on YouTube. So you got a link from YouTube.
Nah, I didn't need a link, man. I thought I was gonna dust off them old barber skills. And
oh my gosh. Come on, man.
So it wasn't no complaints, but I was looking at it, and definitely if you're at home and you cut your child's hair, you're dead wrong. I don't care how much money you're saving.
I mean, but if you know what you're doing, it shouldn't be that.
Hardly anybody ever knows what they're doing. People think they know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing. People be jacking their kids' heads up all the time, and I fell into the trap because I was like, I don't know the next time he's gonna be able to get a cut. So I lined them up and stuff, and it.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Is that bad?
It couldn't get any worse. But needless to say, man, everybody's out here looking rough, man.
Yeah, I see. It's like, I see a lot less selfies on Instagram.
Don't see no selfies on Instagram, man.
You're like, oh man. So, but I mean, all right. So let's talk some sports, man.
Okay.
Where do you want to start? We got I know last week we talked a little. Well, we had a guest, but we talked a little college basketball, and I really miss college basketball. I really do.
Yeah, we were deprived from the March Madness tournament, but one thing that you were spot on is they gave the spring semester athletes another year of eligibility, and then the winter athletes was what it was. So now you were spot on with that.
And I figured that was going to happen. I mean, because the winter sports were pretty much done. They were done. So it was like, I
thought about it a little bit more after we got off the air, and I was like, yeah, I guess it makes a little bit of sense because like you're not going to give football a pass.
Right.
So I get why they didn't give basketball any other eligibility, but it's kind of weird because it's like it's a fall sport, but a lot of it's played in the spring.
As far as what you mean, basketball?
Yeah,
not really college. I mean, because spring starts in what, April, May, or March,
January.
No, spring does not start in January.
Man, you got 2 semesters in college. You got fall semester and you got spring semester.
The spring semester, but technically,
technically 3, because you do have a summer semester, but No, it's normally a fall and the spring
Yeah,
semester.
but in all actuality, spring starts in March. So the spring sports, they pretty much start. They start like end of March. They'll start working out in January. Some November. I mean
So let me ask
December.
you this: what
Mhm.
constitutes a spring sport?
Baseball, softball, track, uh, volleyball could go either way, but those are the main sports: track and field, baseball, softball. You'll have, I guess, swimming, but the main sports in the spring are the main sport is track and field and baseball and softball. So other than that, you know, and then so anything that pretty much starts after March, where the regular season starts after March, that's technically the spring sport.
Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. Basketball, pretty much, their season was done.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they didn't get to play the like big tournaments and everything, but it's not as detrimental, like you said, with
Mm-hmm.
like a baseball or track athlete that didn't even get the opportunity to participate. So
Right.
I got you there.
So I mean, and I'm telling you, the NCAA is they lost a lot of money. I saw some of the guys took pay cuts. I mean, they're making millions of dollars anyway. The kids ain't making nothing, so them taking a pay cut, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. But they'll try and make it as big of a deal as possible, just because
You know what? I used to think like that, but no matter who you are, a pay cut is a pay cut.
a pay cut. Yeah, I mean because
A
you have
pay
a
cut is a pay
lifestyle.
cut.
Yeah, you have a lifestyle, and I get that. But
Absolutely.
but but I mean, them taking a pay cut is a lot different than us taking a pay cut.
Yes and no. You'd be surprised at people that live over their means.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We hear it all the time, but again, if you are making millions and millions of dollars, and I understand that you have their lifestyles may be made different than ours, but if you have access to money like that, millions and millions of dollars, if you take a $300,000 pay cut, yes, it'll hurt, but it won't be like, oh, we're gonna die now.
Yeah. Yeah. Still a
So I
lot of
mean,
money.
oh, it's definitely a lot of money, and I was just throwing $300,000 out there. I don't really know how much they could have had a 10% pay cut. And if you're making that type of money at 10%, well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So what'd you think about Alden Smith going to the Cowboys?
I like your hat, man. It's a nice hat.
Thank you. Thank
uh, but no, I think it's a good deal. It's low risk, high reward, and and if he pans out, because I mean his deal is mainly incentive laden. So if he gets 7 to 8 sacks, then I mean I think that's a really good investment.
you. I think he has the potential to be one of the comeback stories of next year.
If he
If
if he stays clean.
if he stays clean and he stays healthy, he's an athletic freak of nature.
Hmm.
He if he could just return the half of what he is, I think it's a good investment on the Cowboys. The only thing is about football,
Hmm.
it's very difficult to sit out for a period of time and come back to like your form.
Right.
I mean, we've seen it like it's been done with like Michael Vick, but Michael Vick was only out like a year and a half, opposed to
Hmm.
like 4 years.
Right.
I felt like I'm not going to say Vic lost a step because he may have lost a step in speed, but he became a better passer.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like evened out. I think most people would argue that he probably was a better quarterback with the Eagles. Maybe not as electrifying. Depends what you define as like a good quarterback.
Right. I mean,
I mean,
well,
we're not really a good quarterback, but he wasn't the same threat that he was in. Well, no, I can't even say that. I think that 2010 year when he was with the Eagles,
mm-hmm.
I mean, he balled out. He balled out.
That was the year
That was his best season.
professionally.
The year that he won comeback player of the year.
You think that was better than the year he went to Green Bay and won a playoff game?
Statistically. So I think with Michael Vick, you saw two different Michael Vicks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you saw like statistically, like he was better with the Eagles. With the Falcons, it was more about the eye test. You know what I mean? Like maybe a lot of the things that he was doing didn't show up on a stat sheet, but the way that he was able to like change games and the way, I mean, you'll look up and yeah, he had 160 yards passing, 80 yards rushing, a rushing touchdown, and maybe a passing touchdown, but he dominated that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so but back to what we were talking about with Alden Smith, I think he, for the most part, Michael Vick returned the form to where it was a good investment for the Eagles. Josh Gordon, I think teams are still chasing the Josh Gordon that was in Cleveland. What was that, 2014 when he had that really good year, or that was 2013?
What, say that one? Which one?
Well, the year where he caught 1,400 yards.
That was 14, I think. I think that might have been
14 too.
Yeah, it might have been 2014. And I mean, he was high and drunk every game, and I mean, he led the league in receiving yards.
But I feel like teams are still taking chances on Josh Gordon because of the upside and potential of how good he was. And I think that's the same thing with Alden Smith. Is you look at how great he was for those 49er teams, and you think, why not? Why not take a chance on him? If this guy could stay clean or he could stay sober, he could really impact, my team.
Right. And I agree. So what he had, 33 sacks in like 2 years.
And only Von Miller, I think. I think Von Miller in that period of time had more sacks than
right. And so again, if it's something that pans out, like I think 7 to 8 sacks, that's a lot to ask for somebody that's been out for 4 years. But with the talent that he actually had, and we all saw, he should be able to. I mean, it's a risk. It's a risk, but I think with the amount of money that was invested in him, it's a good risk. Do you like the move?
Well, obviously, I'm not a Cowboy fan.
Right. I mean, but
I think if I was a GM, I would take a shot on him.
He's had a lot of issues.
He has had a lot of issues, but it's been a long time too.
Right.
So it's interesting to see like what that workout looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is he in tip-top shape? You know what I mean? Where it's a lot of rust. Football, in my opinion, is the hardest sport to bounce back from. And what I mean by that
is
yeah, because the competition, well, it's competition in all professional sports, but that step slower in football can get you hurt. It's like those guys consistently like train, and when you're out of it, it's really hard to like replicate what you were doing before.
Yeah,
you see it with running backs a lot of times. Like I think the only position that I would say that you could probably sit out maybe a year. It's maybe quarterback.
No, I think it's even worse.
We've seen quarterbacks come off the couch.
Yeah, but nah, I think it's easier. It's easier for probably offensive linemen and defensive linemen to come back.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I think it's easier for them, but like a quarterback is tough. So if you have somebody come back off the couch, what's his name that played for the Eagles last year, and came in and played. McCown. So a lot of people don't know that McCown is like a really good He's like a really good ball player, like basketball player. Like he can really hoop, and he was really a good athlete. So, he played football so long, and he wasn't terrible when he played before. He just was like he just couldn't beat out the other guys that was in camp with him. So he was a decent quarterback, but you have to be pretty special to come off the couch as a quarterback and be successful.
Okay, so I'll throw another name, and I'm trying to think of recent stories, but look at like Randall Cunningham. He was on the couch before he got plugged in there with Randy Moss and Chris Carter.
Yeah, but he was a backup, wasn't he?
Nah, that man was making furniture in Arizona. No, literally, not literally, man. That man had a furniture business and was like sanding chairs, man.
Come on, man. I mean,
I'm dead serious, man. That man was making couches and doing all sort of stuff, and Minnesota called him up, and I mean, he
again. That's a guy that's a hell of an athlete.
Okay, so I give you another one, Vinny Testaverde. I don't even want to tell you how many times he's came off the couch.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But again, didn't Vinny Testaverde win the Heisman? He won a Heisman, didn't he?
Look, man, they brought that man Vinny Testaverde. I think it was with the Cowboys, if I'm not
he was
mistaken.
a Cowboy. Yeah, he played for almost every team. But
that man said he had been out the locker room so long he couldn't relate to the music.
All right, so I have a question. I have a question in regards to Aldon Smith, because somebody brought this question to me earlier, and I thought it was a decent question. So Aldon Smith gets called up 4 years. We know his history, the DUIs, the drugs, the alcohol. The DUI was during the time when kids were getting ready to go to school. And he gets another opportunity, but Cat is still looking for a job. What is your take or how do you feel about that? Because Cap doesn't have a job.
All right. So we're probably going to disagree with how I feel about this. I think Cap and Aldon Smith is like comparing apples to oranges.
How so?
So I think Aldon Smith, when he left football, he was at his peak. He was regarded as like one of the premier young talents in the football league. I mean, you're talking about, like you said, somebody that had 33 sacks in 3 seasons. There was nobody else. He was second of his era, and he's just one of those guys that teams probably accepted like a little bit too much from him because he was that talented. This is a guy that went 11th. I want to say same year as Cap. Matter of fact, they were both drafted the same year, and he only went 11th because he played his whole senior year on a broken foot. Some of the reports of like his Senior Bowl game with Jim Harbaugh, and he was just enamored about what an athlete he was and how he turned out to be. So a lot of those stories are still out there with Aldon Smith, to where it's like, you know what? If he's clean, he's healthy, and if we can just get 8 sacks and we can get him for the low, we're going to take him. Colin Kaepernick, unfortunately, was put in a rough spot because some people don't really see like the value that he could bring. Now, I'm in agreement that he's better than probably 80% of the backups. He should have a job, but I don't think like people look at Colin Kaepernick as okay, if I sign this guy, he's going to put me over the top or he's going to make me a Super Bowl contender. They just see Colin Kaepernick as, yeah, he might be a backup. He's a very, I don't even want to say serviceable, but if I was to throw him into the starting role, he can get the job done. So I think the viewpoint on a Colin Kaepernick is a little bit different than Alden Smith.
Well, so here's the thing. All in all, Colin Kaepernick didn't break any laws. We agree there. He didn't break any laws. And I know we talked about this before, and we got people commenting saying Cap was blackballed, and and he said Cap took his team to the Super Bowl. But my thing with Kaepernick and Alden Smith. Well, I've always said if you kill somebody, if you do drugs, and if you have alcohol problem, it is easier to get back into the league than it is if you protest or hurt animals.
Okay, so I agree with everything that was said. All right, so I agree with Cap did take his team to the Super Bowl. Cap is being blackballed. And I agree with you saying that it's easier to get into the league with drugs and alcohol. But if you dissect that a little bit more, if you're strung out on drugs or you're got alcohol abuse, the team has leverage with you. So like you're looking at like an Alden Smith. Obviously, like if none of this stuff would have happened, you're looking at somebody that possibly could have been like in the same sentence as like an Aaron Donald. You know what I mean? But if you sign Cap, you don't have that leverage on him. You know what I mean? If you're like an owner, you know what I mean? Like Cap, he wants to play football, but at the same time, he's not somebody that you're going to be able to control. You know what I mean? He's not going to be somebody that you're going to be able to say, you know what? Well, if you test positive, I can kick you off, or you're on your last step, you can kick you off, because like you mentioned, he hasn't been in any trouble. So I think that kind of goes into it is low risk, high reward. I could pick an Alden Smith or somebody that's got a bad reputation for the low and get a high reward for him.
And I get what you're saying with that. I definitely do. But that still doesn't explain why he doesn't have a job. I mean, we know the blackball part. And he's been out, what, it's 3 years now? I think it's 3 years since Cap's played. It's almost 4.
I think, honestly, he's at that point, and people would agree, is that you have to find value in him. You know what I mean? And a lot of teams can use the excuse that they don't find like value in him. They don't think that he's the guy that's going to get them over the hump. So they're not going to take the risk forward. And aside from him being blackballed, now let's put this in a different perspective. If it was Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson,
okay,
and they were out, oh yeah, a team would be lining up to take a chance for him.
For Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
It depends. Because I think that if Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson had took knees, they wouldn't be as beloved as they are now, no matter how talented they are. Because you got to think, when before Cap got hurt, he had the Super Bowl appearance, and he was prepared he was elevating. And then they started making the protests public, and that's when it started saying, oh well, yeah, he's good, but we don't really want to deal with him. And that injury, no, because that injury gave the 49ers an excuse to start those quarterbacks were terrible.
He was okay. So before he started protesting, he was already a backup quarterback.
To who?
To Blaine Gabbert.
No, but no, that wasn't before the protest.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't
that's
before.
That's why it wasn't noted, because he was on the bench.
Man.
When Cap started protesting, he was the backup quarterback. You're right. The shoulder injuries did,
and I feel like he was hurt already, and he had came back, but he was because it was during the preseason when he started protesting. Right,
but they didn't start noticing. I think it was like game 3 or game 4 of that season. He was the backup quarterback now.
No. So yes. So here's the thing. He was protesting during the preseason because he was protesting during the preseason, and he was sitting down. But they were using that, and they were trying to say that Blaine Gabbert. It wasn't as wide. We knew about it because I remember we were on the air and we were talking about it, and Blaine Gabbert. They was like Blaine Gabbert is beating him out to because whatever it was preseason, they were in a quarterback battle, and they said Blaine Gabbert was better, and everybody and their grandmother was like, no, but he was hurt because he was hurt the previous year. He got hurt the previous year.
So all right, so here's my narrative that I always think of this, and I don't know if anybody agree.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-Cap, like somebody just mentioned, like when he took his team to the Super Bowl and was at the top of his game. If that would have happened then, I think somebody would have took a chance on him. I think the fact that he was injured gave them even more leverage to be like, you know what, we don't want this guy, and on top of that, we're going to blackball him. And that's what I kind of mean with the Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes too, is when people are at the top of their career and you feel like, man, this guy is going to take me over the top, they're more willing to take a shot on him. I think with Cap is this kind of like, he's a backup quarterback now. We're already blackballing him. He's not worth the risk, and for whatever reason, teams haven't bid on him.
All right. I mean, I guess this Cap thing, I don't know. I think it's more. It's the politics, we know, but we'll never get an answer. Will he be back?
No. I think
it's a wrap.
The more okay. So when initially,
he's a great athlete. He's a great athlete.
When he did his NFL workout, I was a little like shocked in the way that he carried it. But then after he started talking about the reasons, and why you started talking about the reasons to why he changed up the workout and everything like that, he probably wasn't going to get a shot to begin with.
Right. It's almost like one of those, they have a lot of like regional combine workouts, right, for the NFL. And unless you run like a 4.3 or like you're 6'8" and 2 something and can run, you're not really gonna get picked up. It's just like a money grab. And I feel like what they were doing was just a money grab. Not necessarily with the money. They wasn't taking money from anybody, but it was just a pointless workout because they weren't really going to give him a fair shot anyway.
I think sometimes people have to trust their instincts, and I think he trusted his instincts. Like he felt like he wasn't going to get a fair shake. I think some of the scouting reports from that workout were, I mean, the same sentiments that, I suggested with a lot of teams just didn't have that confidence in them anyway. So I don't think like it's anybody like there's probably teams out there that are kicking themselves because they didn't take a chance on Alden Smith. I don't think that there's a team out there that's thinking like, man, I would go grab Cap, but he's blackballed.
Right.
So that's why I think
a lot of things didn't make sense either. Like, why are you inviting all these teams? If these teams really wanted to have Cap or have a workout, they could have just set up a workout at their facility. Why are you? And then you were trying to get like head coaches aren't going to see somebody work out on a Saturday. Like a lot of it didn't make any sense. It was just like, I don't know.
But it's the other thing, like you were just saying, right? And that's what I had to think about the most when I watched everything play out is if a team really, really wanted him, they would have grabbed him.
Right.
So then you start to think like, okay, we've seen teams grab people that have killed people. You know what I mean? Just everything that you could think of, there's been some sort of player or some close example that's got like some sort of second chance.
Leonard Little, Ray Lewis.
Even take it a step further with Eric Reed. I mean,
but Eric Reed wasn't the first, so that's the thing. That's the problem. He wasn't the first. It's always tougher for whoever's first. It's always going to be tougher.
But Eric Reed, I can't say that he's done as much as Cap because we've all said that Eric Reed is the man standing next to the man. But if somebody has carried on his fight in the NFL, it's been Eric Reed. You know, whether or not we all agree with everything that Eric Reed has said. Teams stay interested in Eric Reed.
He'll probably get another shot.
Oh, he will. Yeah. It was the same thing with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, the minute that he became available, it was like, oh yeah, we got to go get Eric Reed. He's one of the best safeties out there. So that's how I kind of look at it too. Is like Eric Reed, he's been. I mean, some people say it's the lack of attention. I mean, it is what it is. But Eric Reed has been down for the cause, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
and he's gotten opportunities, and I really think it's because teams feel like this guy's going to put me over the edge. So you know what? I'll put up with his antics, or I'll put up with whatever he's got going on.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, we're not in the studio right now, and I don't have all my equipment. So, winner of the week, man. Who you got?
Oh man, I got two.
Two? All right, that's fine. We got plenty.
Yeah, I'm gonna have everybody vote. All right, so the first winner is Billy Joe Sanders.
I explained.
You don't know, he's a middleweight champion. Well, was. Right now, they've suspended him because he posted a video of how to commit domestic violence. Put it on his Twitter account. So that's A. Then my good friend Mike Leach down there in Mississippi State tweeted a picture of his wife knitting a noose. So me and you kind of talked.
Wait. All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, me and you had kind of talked. So Billy Joe Sanders, I think we was in agreement that all right, that should be the winner of the week.
Right.
But then the Mike Leach story came up. And I didn't have one last week, but I was like, man, COVID-19, it's starting to really hit people.
Yeah.
This is really starting to hit people. Which one's worse, man? They both happened on Twitter.
Yeah, so and I didn't even know about the Mike Leach one.
Yeah, that was something I was kind of keeping behind. I mean, when you did the Billy Joe Sanders, I was like, It's a tough one, man.
So with these two dummies, I think that I think you split that apple in half and give them both a piece
Yeah, they're both
because
there.
yeah, I mean because so here's the thing. I did a little bit of research and I did see that there was a report saying that when there are like certain things that are going like tragedies or things of that nature, domestic violence goes up, right? So this guy makes a video about what to do, how to beat your woman. I thought it was the most tasteless and gutless thing I've ever seen. And then he did this half-ass apology. It was like, come on, man, he didn't really mean it. And he deserved to be suspended. And would I say banned for life? I don't know if I would say banned for life, but in his case, he needs to be investigated tremendously. Like he needs to be investigated and make sure he doesn't have any domestic violence cases that we don't know about. Because for somebody to make a video like that and be as detailed as it was, they've done some crap. He's done something where you're like, he probably does beat his wife, and no.
So I think those are valid questions. I mean, you can't just not watch that video and that's the first thought that comes into your head. I think in both instances, they thought that they were being funny. And I think like some people seriously, I think they both like I wouldn't be surprised if the boxer beats his wife, but at the same time, I think that they were trying to get a arouse out of people, get it, and think that people were going to look at it and say, "Oh, okay, hey, it's a joke," and it's not a joke. Neither situation is a joke, but I think the intent was to get a laugh or to get a reaction, and they both got reactions.
Yeah, and shout out to Clarissa Shields. She had a response video. She's also a boxer. She's a woman boxer, and she had a response, and the response was how to combat domestic violence.
Okay.
So I mean, shout out to her for that. And it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. So in that situation, he deserves everything he's getting, and he's currently being investigated. And he should be. And if they find anything, they should take his boxing license should be taken, and he shouldn't be able to box, at least in the U.S. And if you can't box in the U.S., it's going to be hard for you to get a license in another country. It's just going to be difficult. In regards to Mike Leach, honestly, and you're in Mississippi, that's a fireable offense.
Yeah, because so his thing was a lot of his players responded. So to do something like that, I don't think you'll recover from that in the locker room.
You're in the South. You're in Mississippi, of all places. You're in Mississippi.
Right. It's just like Jim Boheim out there in Cleveland. That thug comment this year, like you can't overcome a comment like that because it's like, nah.
I think it's easier for him to overcome that than a noose. You show a picture of your wife sewing a noose.
You're correct. It is easier, but if he couldn't overcome calling his players thugs, how do you recover from a noose?
See. So here's the thing with it wasn't Boeheim, it was the old Michigan coach. Beeline. Yeah, Jim Beeline. But he's still with the organization. So he's still employed with the Cavs.
Yeah, because he's getting cashed out. Like
Yeah, he's like a 5-year deal.
He's got like a 5-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's close to like 30 million or like 25 million, and he didn't even make it a season.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess their thoughts was, man, we got to figure out how to recoup some of this money. Like, we got to do something. Like, he's not that bad. We're just gonna tell him, oh, okay, go sit on the couch.
Right.
Now we got to find something for him to do.
Yeah, man, and that's irresponsible, man. I mean, you have to know better than that. And how do you explain that? How does that explain? How do you explain that to your players?
Difficult, very difficult to explain that to your players.
And I would really like to know, because I don't even know if he could like be in contact with his players right now. So that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt recruiting. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt morale with the team, and they're just gonna feel like you're gonna have all these black players on you and some white guys on the team looking at you crazy, like, what are you thinking, coach? Like, what are you thinking?
But you know, it doesn't surprise me that it came from him. I mean, Mike Leach. I mean, most people that's followed college football know that he's bounced around. He's got a good offensive mind. Very innovative. Has created some very innovative offenses, but it's always been his personality that's cost him. You know, people don't. They call him the mad genius. People don't want to deal with him, and in some sick way, he probably thought he was being funny, or thought that. I mean, do I think Mike Leach is a racist? I don't think he's a racist. I just think he just used a lot of poor judgment.
Because remember, this is the same guy that and correct me if I'm wrong, he had a running back at Washington State that I think you gave him win of the week for it. He had a running back at Washington State, and because the guy left early and he didn't want him to leave early, he gave him like a bad review and told all the scouts and the NFL guys that he didn't work hard or whatever it was. Yeah, whatever it was, he gave that guy a bad review. Ultimately cost him some draft position. And then, I mean, that's tough, man. So I mean, it's tough. But if I had to pick one between the two, I'm not. They both slice it right down the middle, and they both get one. Because that's crazy. That's crazy.
So something I want to talk about. Okay, so you saw what the NBA's got on the table, right? About
as far as
playing basketball in Las Vegas and playing in empty arenas. And
I heard about that.
The seasons. What are your thoughts?
I think that it's a good idea, but it takes a lot more work than just because what I think they could. I mean, or Jay Williams, that's where ESPN that I used to go to do. He came up with that I thought was a pretty good idea of the cruise ships. It's 2 separate cruise ships, and one is for the Eastern Conference teams, the other's for the Western Conference teams. You build the gyms on these because those cruise ships are pretty massive,
right?
And they play there. The problem is like, which is going to be regardless, is they all should be tested, and we know that there's a lack of tests. So that's the biggest issue, is testing everybody. You know, because even the guys that had been tested, like Marcus Smart, the guys on the Lakers, the Nets, they will probably have to be tested again before the season starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it's just a bad look when you have, you know, your regular folks here and people that are dying because they don't have tests, and how many people you think have? Because it's not just the players; it's the players, the coaches, all the essential staff, like the people that clean the floors. You need those guys. the people that work for the networks. So it's not just the players that have to be tested. It's because the networks, because they're going to be televised. So it's more than just, the 12 to 15 guys on each team being tested. Is the coaching staff, is the janitorial people. So I don't think it's as simple as let's just get in the gym and play. And then, because after you leave the gym, you got to go home or you got to go to your room. You're going to be in contact with someone. It's not like, and it's not like these guys are being supervised 24 hours a day. Once you leave the arena, your life is your life.
Yeah. So I was under the impression with the cruise ship, because I hadn't heard the cruise ship idea, is that the guys would stay on the cruise ship.
No. With the cruise, I was talking about, with the cruise ship, you stay on it. That you're pretty much away from everybody. Everything gets filmed. Jay Williams wanted them to bring their families too. I was like, like the immediate family, like your kids and your significant other. But I don't think that's a lot. It's to the point where if you're going to do the cruise ship idea, it will have to be just the NBA personnel. It can't be your family, your immediate family as well.
So you are right, because everybody's not going to respond to being trapped on a cruise ship the same way. People are going to want to leave and go, and
there's a lot of things to do on a cruise ship, but you won't have the same experience like if we went on a cruise and we was just, it'd just be those guys just playing basketball and probably just they'll probably be bored out their minds.
Yeah, at some point, it doesn't matter how good of a time you're having. There's no place like home.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're stuck on a cruise ship for a month. Yeah, it may be nice, but at some point you are going to want to go home, interact with other people, all sort of things.
Yeah, I just but the arena idea, to have like centralized arenas, so maybe 3 centralized arenas on the East Coast and on the West Coast. I think that is a decent idea. I know Vegas put their bid in. They need all the help they could get. Atlantic City as well. The mayor of Atlantic City said, if you want to bring basketball back, we got we got everything for you. So hopefully it doesn't get to that. Hopefully, in a month, the curve flattens and we're able to have some basketball, even if it's not with fans, or maybe it's a select number of fans, maybe season ticket holders, or maybe just family. I don't know, but normalcy is out of the window. So if it goes to you at the practice facilities, and that's where they're playing the games at because it's smaller and there's more confined, then that's something you have to do.
Yeah, we'll see. Like you said, no idea is so much of a bad idea. Either way, like you said, I like the idea that Jay Williams put out there, but at the same time too, I don't know if everybody's going to respond the same way about being isolated on a cruise ship.
Right.
And then, you say the stadium thing, and you still do put people at risk, because like you say, you can't follow somebody 24/7, and you don't know when they're going to come in contact with it. So it's good to hear that they have put something on the table and they're not just thinking about just canceling the season, even though it may come to that, depending on the timeline for this thing. Nobody knows, but
right. MLS has they have a date out there. They have May 10th for Major League Soccer. So, and I don't know the details about if they're going to go no fans. That may be the more realistic. That may be where we're at now. At least for the rest of the seasons that are up, are no fans. It would be weird.
Oh yeah, no, I think it would be weird. I think a lot of it goes back to what you just said is testing.
Hmm.
If people could get tested and there was enough tests to go around,
Hmm.
then you could start, looking at, okay, we could resume sports. But until you don't have enough tests and the virus is where it's at, it's kind of like, well, we're not going to put ourselves even more at risk.
Right, right, and it's just like a wait and see because you have the NBA who's they're just waiting and seeing. The Chinese Basketball Association, they went from saying, all right, we're going to get started in like 2 weeks to the very next day. It wasn't even a full day saying we're going to delay the restart. And it's just like, oh my God. And this is China. They haven't played since January. So I don't know how long their seasons normally go, but I think that the NBA is kind of like taking a page from there. They're like kind of watching the Chinese Basketball Association from a distance. Um, NFL is. I don't think the season is in jeopardy, but this is going to affect the season tremendously because you got you're not going to have OTAs. There are teams with there was a bunch of like moving around. So there was a bunch of moving around. So you have uh, uh, quarterbacks going to new places. You have coaches going to new destinations, and there's no way to really like get that familiarity with everybody. So I think that's going to affect the season somehow, some way. You don't even know if the preseason is going to go on like it should. And once you get to the preseason, is like, oh boy, because will you have enough time to prepare for the regular season? So it's a lot because college basketball has talked, it's come up. Well, college football, I said basketball, but college football have a season. I think they're gonna have a season, but you don't know because this is like the great unknown. We don't really know what's happening.
Well, I think the scarier thing is right now, as of now, it's not getting any better.
Mm-hmm.
And these months are right around the corner. So, like you
Right.
said, we're about to get into draft. So typically, like you got like rookie mini camps,
Mm-hmm.
OTAs. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about like basketball. Well, if you look at it, basketball season's over in June.
Right.
We're in April now. So it's like if this goes on another month, we're talking about May. You know what I mean? And you still got the regular season to finish on top of like a championship. So, you're looking at baseball, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that. I mean, they would be pretty much starting right now. So it's going to impact their season. And same with college football.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, we almost out of time, but I wanted to talk about this, and I kind of saved it, and we'll talk about it for a little bit. ESPN and Fox Sports One, NBC Sports Washington, because we in the DC area. All these sporting channels, they are struggling. I saw WWE the other day on ESPN. WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is coming on ESPN on Sunday.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, shoot, we're on one time a week
Mm-hmm.
for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's tough to find subjects, but I mean, we're talking about Cap getting back in the NFL, what I mean? Or, just
I mean,
reality
that came up, but
TV
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I understand it probably is tough to
Mm-hmm.
talk sports. I do now. Something I do want to put you on to though. Have you
Okay.
seen Tiger King?
I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. I know Shaq
Yo,
was in it,
you are
and
doing no. The Shaq's not really in it.
yeah,
You are doing yourself an injustice if you have not seen Tiger King.
I understand that. I'll
Drop whatever you're doing
no.
and start watching Tiger King. I'm serious, man. If you're out there and you're listening,
Hey, I don't know how have you finished watching All American?
Yeah, caught
Okay,
up.
all right. Because if you hadn't, I was gonna shut you down and I was gonna do the
Nah,
rest of the show by myself.
caught up. Yeah, I finished watching All
Yeah.
American.
So here's the thing. It keeps me from hearing you talk about 98 Fiance. So I'm cool with that. Oh Jesus! All right. So I am gonna because I hear a lot of people talking about it and everything. But the thing with here's the thing with so Carol did it. That's what they said. Carol did it. Somebody said something about Joe Exotic. I've heard about all these people, Team Carol and Team Joe.
Look, let me tell you. Were you a Jerry Springer fan?
Yeah. Back in the day when it first
Yo, if you're a Jerry Springer fan, you gotta look at Tiger King.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's some of the most. I ain't gonna say ignorant. It's just you gotta watch it, man. It's
okay. Yeah. Is it so? It's a season, or is it a movie just broken?
So up? It's a documentary.
Okay.
I think it's like 8 episodes, but it is hilarious, man. It's people in real life, so you don't want to laugh at nobody, but it's hilarious. You got to check it out.
Well, one of the documentaries that I've been waiting for since forever is So here's the thing. It was so funny because I said it was one day.
What it is because I don't think everybody picked up on my lack of tone.
It was the Bulls documentary, right? So I was playing around one day. I was on the computer. ESPN was on, but I wasn't watching it. It was just on, and I said they're struggling. They might as well just bring the documentary on earlier, because they don't have anything else to play. The very next day, they made an announcement saying that they're gonna show it April 19th.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that it was because they've been advertising this thing for like a year, and I think that everybody has been kind of waiting
because it's supposed to start like pretty much right after the finals.
Right, because everybody's seen the 30 for 30. Everybody's seen like the Lakers versus Celtics, and you got all these teams, the bad boys. People want to see the Bulls and some of the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, listen, Scott. I can't wait. Okay, I cannot wait. And what is it? 10? Is it a 10-part series? I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna release. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna release everything at one time because it's gonna be on Netflix too. But but listen, I'm gonna tell you now. If they release it, the whole thing all at once, which I hope that they do because I want to just watch everything all at once, it's gonna be crazy. But if they don't, listen. I'm gonna tell y'all now. We're gonna start with that every week. So I'm telling y'all now, y'all gonna get 10 weeks of the Chicago Bulls, and I don't care. Whatever.
But the crazy thing is for a documentary to be out for so long, I haven't heard anything negative about it, or Michael Jordan doesn't seem like nervous about it, or any of that.
Nah, I mean, because it was he's definitely giving them the okay. They're not showing us if he don't give them the okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's and I'm sure we've heard most of the stories. I personally want to hear more about the flu game because I still don't to this day don't think he had the flu. I just think he had a hangover. I think he had a hangover. It's Jordan. I think he had a hangover, and I've heard that story a few times from a few older people because we were still fairly young. That flu game was what? I mean, we were like 15, 14.
You don't think he had the flu?
I've heard that he had a hangover. I want to hear more about his gambling because we knew about Jordan gambling and things like that. I want to hear more about that, and if it did have, they probably won't say it if he had like mob ties, and that's probably why. Because that was a rumor about his dad. It was a mob hit, and I wouldn't mind hearing some of the baseball stories when he was playing minor league baseball, because that's different. Like, they showed a little bit of it on SportsCenter last weekend, and they said that he
the bus.
yeah, and it was like the Super Bowl or the World Series Game 7 everywhere they went. And that, how crazy that is for minor league baseball, because I mean, you could go to the minor league game the day of and be in the front row for most minor league games. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I want to hear the story of him punching Steve. I think it was Steve Kerr or John Pat, one of them white boys that he punched in the face. Yeah, I want to hear about all of this. I want to hear.
All right, well, you get to hear about it.
I can't wait.
Man. Shoot,
I cannot wait, and I think that's gonna be a good watch, man. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Whatever. So okay, I see the Malcolm X documentary.
It's good.
You seen it?
Yep.
All right, damn, man. I guess I need to watch more TV, huh?
Catch up, man. Malcolm X documentary is real good,
and that's been out for about maybe 2 months now, right? A month and a half or something like that.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna check that out.
In a different direction than I guess I was initially thinking it was something else.
Mm-hmm.
But when I watched it, no, it's good.
Okay, all right. So I mean, I've been watching Chicago PD. I did see you said something about Blind Date when Nasa was here last week, and I did see it. And I used to like Blind Date back in the day when it came on. But yeah. It's a cool little joint. People are stupid. I mean, blind dates are awkward, and so it is what it is. But yeah, man.
Go ahead and wrap up, man.
This man Scott's tired, y'all. He don't want to record.
Oh man.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
I'm on
joking.
daddy duty.
Huh?
I said I'm on daddy duty right now.
Scott.
Yeah, I'm at the crib. I
got 4.
Yeah, but you gotta get a mom a break sometime. Huh?
All right. You're right. I guess we get out of here. All right, man. But yeah, man. Next week, we'll see what happens. My goal next week is to have the music back.
Okay, that's a good goal.
Yeah, Scotty's definitely going to get a sip of Tito's.
A sip of Tito's.
Don't act like, now you don't know what Tito's is. You don't know what that is? Yeah, right.
Oh, Tito's. Oh, nah.
Okay. So, all right, man. We out of here, man. We out.
All right.
I just off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
That's your boy Scotty B.
Yeah. All right. All right.
All right. Peace.